Hey everybody, welcome. It's Lotus, Art of Sacred Embodiment, and today, just a little brief intro. We're talking about the power of choice and the power of little c choice, big C choice, and ultimately the choice to align with divine will. The longer version of this is over, with that's more detailed, is over on my Patreon page, and you're more than happy to pop over there. As a free member, you can watch some of the things that I post. So the power of choice and the freedom of choice. When we break our ability to make a choice down, the first thing that we need to understand and be really clear about is most everything that we base our choices on until we begin going through our awakening process is based on our programming and conditioning. Period. The programming, the conditioning, which I believe is also interwoven with what we bring in karmically in order to learn, in order to resolve, in order to awaken, is going to be whether that is our cultural programming, family programming, educational programming, right? Political programming. Entertainment is a major programmer. The systems that we live under, right? The monetary system is a big program. The medical system has been a big program. You know, and I'm using program in sort of more of a base level connotation, even though there are even higher level programs, so to speak, right? But it's any way that we have been ingrained and indoctrinated into believing this is the way it is, right? This is what we do. We go to school, we get a job, right? Well, we go to school, we go to college, we get a career, we get a family, and then we retire. And then there's all sorts of other little programs, you know, within that, conditioned ways of how we are accessing and addressing and valuing what success is for us, what happiness is. Most of these have been for decades, thousands of years, more than decades, externally based. We are now moving into the ascension, right? Of the ascension, the ascension, where we're looking from inside of us. Am I fulfilled? Am I at peace? Am I happy? Do I feel connected to my life inside me? And am I making the choices in my life to bring true happiness, which is connected to the soul? Happiness that is programmed is connected to the external physical 3D realm. Okay? That's what we're all conditioned into, and that's what we're all slowly breaking out of. So most of you already know this, but the importance that this has on our choices is paramount, because we are not actually making free choices if we're making them from programming or conditioning, which the underlying motivation under that is going to be fear, it's going to be safety, security, it's going to be wounded attachments, such as if I don't go along with the small C choice and I move into a big C choice that really my heart and soul is calling me towards, I might lose people that I love. I might be rejected. I might be looked at as crazy. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to make the small C choice that's going to make everybody else happy around me, that's going to fit into I'm going to be the round peg that's going to fit into the round hole. And is that actually what is bringing you fulfillment? Because normally at that phase, those kinds of choices keep us or I should say, disconnected from our soul presence, from our true essence, from like why we're really here. So we want to gain clarity, and that clarity comes through self-inquiry, but the very first thing is recognizing, oh, where am I programmed and conditioned still? Even if you've been on this journey for a while, right? It's like I'm constantly going, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? I'm totally operating through this conditioning. And if I make my decisions from that, I'm operating from fear. So that choice will never be a fulfilled choice because it's not true to me. So then I'm invited to explore going outside that box. So if you hop over onto Patreon, we kind of break this down a little bit in more detail. And it's becoming, I believe, a more important topic because every choice we make now matters. Every choice that we make holds a frequency of consciousness, and it holds the choice of, am I staying in an old paradigm, or am I even slowly upticking and expanding my consciousness through saying yes to my soul presence? And Art of Sacred Embodiment is deeply, deeply dedicated to what is your happiness. If you aren't living from peace, if you aren't living from true, deep happiness and inner fulfillment and deeper connectedness, which ultimately is also connected to life with the capital L, right? The divine, God, nature, love, whatever that is, then if that isn't your experience, then you're most likely living in this other paradigm or struggling in it. So Art of Sacred Embodiment, right, are the processes that support this movement, this evolution, this shifting from, in this theme, right? How do we let go of the small c choices, and how do I start living more fully and more honestly and authentically and truthfully from the choices that are true to me, and how do I even find them sometimes, right? Because we can get very mired under the layers and layers and layers and the grooves through our brain, through our nervous system, through our body of the conditioning. And when we try to stray from that, that can get very jolting and create a lot of internal stress, right, and fear. And that fear comes from programming, not from freedom, not from accessing more of the truth, accessing more of you, your wholeness, accessing more of the divine and the realms that are right here, right now, asking us, inviting us to move through these levels and stages and phases of your spiritual development. And our power of choice is key to this. So thanks for being here. I always enjoy being over here on YouTube, even if I'm not over here as much anymore. Hop on over if this resonates with you onto the Art of Sacred Embodiment, Lotus at Art of Sacred Embodiment, I believe, on Patreon, and the link will be below as well. So thank you so much. I hope this resonates. Many blessings.